welcome back to Coffee and Careers. I'm Calvin Blackman with Bridge Logistics.
I'm Jared Long, also with Bridge Logistics, if you couldn't tell by the logo on the jacket.
We're part of the talent acquisition team here at Bridge, and today we want to talk to you about what it takes to have a really solid resume that's ultimately going to be a piece of what's going to help you have an effective interview and ultimately, hopefully gain the job and put off an impression that you're looking for when you're talking to a potential employer. I think to get us kicked off, we will, I guess, just dive right in. A lot of times we know that resumes only are a piece of what is going to be the most effective opportunity for you, if you will. I think the other aspect of that is your LinkedIn. But for today, we'll focus on the resume. Jared, I'll ask you a question. When you first receive a resume, what is the first thing that one of the first things that draws you to a resume that you even want to look at?
Yeah, definitely. Good question. I would think first one is making sure that the format looks clean and crisp. The last thing that I want to see when I open a resume is a very unorganized Word document that's got graphics thrown all over the place. And, I want to see name, contact information, most recent experience up at the top. Usually if it's anything outside of that, I'm already kind of asking myself questions.
LinkedIn profile?
Big LinkedIn profile guy.
Hyperlink with that contact information. Yeah. I think one of the things you touched on was format. I know for myself, the format is, I think, having it go from most recent experience to, the most, quote, outdated experience is what we look for. I mean, typically is one of the things that chronologically is what makes the most sense because it allows us as recruiters to see what you've done most recently, what you're invested in, where you're spending your time, and maybe where you've had some relevant experience in whatever industry you're looking to go into. When you talk about contact information, though, let's go back to that. What does that typically look like? Do you like that in a list form? Do you like that across the top? Like, what do you think that looks like? What kind of draws to your attention?
Honestly, across the top is what I think is most visually appealing to me. Again, that's my personal opinion as a recruiter. I know every recruiter you're going to talk to is going to be probably a little slightly different on that. So when it comes to the experience, what is one thing that could separate someone when it comes to experience? I know what I think, but I would love to know, you think about something on their resume that they've done, what is something that could separate them from the pack? Yeah, it's a great question.
I didn't mean to put you on the spot, but we'll see what you come up with.
Yeah, I definitely feel on the spot with that one.
Good, let's go.
One thing that I look for first is what the bullet points under that experience look like, and having actual metrics to back up what you did. Specifically because, being in the logistics industry with sales and operations, we look at numbers, and numbers tell results. And that's just in our case with our business here. Other businesses are going to be a little bit different, but kind of an inside the scope lens on what a logistics company is going to be looking for is specific metrics and, say, a past sales position. Even if you waited tables, how many tables a day did you wait? What was an average check size? Things like that, to have actual numbers to back up what you're saying, because anybody can put on a resume, I talk to customers, I talk to clients, but what did you actually do for those clients? That's really what's important.
4, maybe 5 bullet points at most when it comes to those different experiences.
You don't want to read a 10-page resume?
I don't want to read a 10-page resume.
Oh, I love it.
And I don't want to read 17 bullet points for one experience. And I think that's where it's important to have someone work on your resume with you and to review it. That's where networking comes in. Someone who has put resumes together, whether that be a professor or a friend or a peer, and making sure that they can help give you those guidelines. One other thing I would talk about with the resume is any leadership experience that you've had, make sure that is on your resume as well. Whether you played sports and you were a team captain, whether you led the head of your sorority or fraternity, whether you're a leader of a business group on campus, whatever type of leadership position you've had, I think is one of the things that will help you stand out from the pack as well. For that, it shows that a lot of businesses or recruiters, if you will, we're looking for leaders. Leaders come in all different varieties, right? But if we see that you've at some point worked in a leadership role, if you will, that lets us know that you're someone who could come into this organization, and if you're willing to be coached and want to learn, then leadership can become an opportunity for you at some point down the road. So.
And even to add on to that, with leadership opportunities, volunteering experience really major to put on your resume. Shows us as recruiters that you care about things in this world that aren't yourself necessarily. So well-rounded person always has a little bit of volunteer experience on there. Doesn't matter how much you have, anything helps.
Let's talk about cover letters.
All right, I'm down. Let's do it.
Cover letters, to me personally, don't add a lot of value. I think a cover letter is, I can't remember what it said on LinkedIn. There was kind of a meme, if you will, or, kind of an example of, cover letter is like extra icing on a cake. If you're already going to eat the cake, who wants the icing? I don't know. That's probably a bad example. But for me, I think when it comes to cover letters, right, it doesn't tell me anything about who you are, right? One, just as Jared, I think, alluded to off camera, but make sure that you have all of your information in the cover letter, if you're going to use a cover letter, addressed to the right company and the right contact, attention to detail. But for me, I think a lot of people will go and spend all this time putting a cover letter into this, language that is not true to how you would speak or how you truly would present yourself. So as I'm reading through this, great, but what I'm more worried about who you are as a person. And although I can't figure all that out on paper, through your resume, through your LinkedIn, through your cleaned up social media, and through conversations with you, we're able to understand who you are. So, I'm not a huge guy when it comes to cover letters, but I understand some organizations do require that. They may be outdated, but that's your decision.
Yeah, exactly. Like Calvin said, what I was saying off camera about cover letters, I don't know how many times I've read a cover letter that has a different company listed in the cover letter, like it's addressed to that company, or it's addressed about a completely different position than what they're applying for. And I would much rather not see a cover letter at all than see that. Because if I see a cover letter with incorrect information in it, incorrect company, chances are you're not securing an interview with me. I'm just going to be dead honest with you.
Jared, do you have anything else about resumes that you'd like to tell the world?
Nothing else really about resumes. I would just say after you submit that resume, just shoot a quick little follow-up message. It definitely helps in securing that interview. But next month, we'll actually be going a little bit deeper into a topic that Calvin can touch on real quick.
Yeah, so make sure you stay tuned. Be sure to like, subscribe, follow everything Bridge Logistics, and look for us next month, where we will be talking about the interview process and what that looks like and how to present yourself as a quality candidate and get through that interview process and land that job that you want.